Hey guys, it's Brandon Woolham with CCM Magazine, and today we are on the virtual Dove Award red carpet with our buddy Matthew West, who's having a pretty busy day today. How are you, Matthew?
Virtual red carpet. I forgot my suit. Sorry that I don't look formal enough for you. Okay, sorry. Thought I had a song. Turns out I did. I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Good. So you're kind of used to this virtual thing. You were really one of the first artists to really adapt to these live streams. You just finished up your second West Fest. Do you think these live streams are going to stick around once we're kind of post-COVID, or do you think they're going to slowly fade off?
That's a great question. I kind of feel like there's always going to be some element of it. It's really unlocked some really neat opportunities. For all the downside of technology that we always talk about, I think we've seen some of the upsides of technology in 2020, some of the really cool ways of staying connected with people. But, I honestly don't know how long it's going to be until touring is really back. And so I think 2021 is still very much up in the air. And for that reason, I think some of these virtual experiences are going to continue to be in demand. And I've really enjoyed it. It's nowhere near the same of being in front of a live audience. That's one of the reasons why we're releasing an EP called Live Before the World Shut Down, because I've been missing that interaction with crowds, and just the chance to make music and hear that crowd singing along with us. So, but I'm enjoying the virtual concerts. We're trying to make the best of a bad situation. That's what we do.
Yeah, you mentioned that live album. It's going to be your second album this year. Where'd you record those songs at? Was that recorded pre-COVID or during all this stuff?
Yes, so it was recorded pre-COVID, and hence the name. I woke up one morning, I was like, Live Before the World Shut Down, and I called my label. I was like, I want to do a live EP, and this is what I want to call it. And they're like, that's kind of cool. So we had done. I flew to New York with my band, and we did this really cool, like, kind of. It was full band, but kind of stripped performance at YouTube Studios in New York to launch the album, the brand new album that was getting ready to come out. And we had these singers with us. It was a really cool setup. We had a cellist, and I just loved those recordings and how they turned out. And it was kind of in an intimate audience. And then I did another show in Tennessee at this place called The Caverns, which is a kind of a famous bluegrass venue. And it's literally in a cave. The stage is in a cave. And so we took one of the performances from that and the other ones from New York, and decided to, I was just a little sentimental, missing live music as it's been taken away from us in 2020. I thought the audience might enjoy hearing some live music as well.
Yeah. Well, the Dove Award theme this year is Carry the Change. What type of change have you endured here in 2020 that you're going to be carrying throughout the rest of your life?
It might be easier to list the things that have stayed the same in 2020. It'd be a shorter list. A lot of changes have taken place, obviously. I've been learning a lot. I launched a podcast, and with every guest that I've had on the show, I've started to realize that maybe this podcast is not just for the listener of the podcast, but maybe it's for me. And I'm learning so much. I'll give you an example. I just had a conversation with a guy named Emmanuel Acho. And Emmanuel Acho has been releasing these videos. He's a former NFL linebacker, and now he's a television show host on Fox Sports 1, but he does these videos called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. And they've been viewed millions of times. He's had conversations with Chip and Joanna Gaines, Matthew McConaughey, the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell. And he sat down to talk with me on my podcast. And, here was a white man and a black man sitting down and having a conversation. And I walked away gaining so much wisdom and insight into a very important issue in our world. And it's just been moments like that have changed me, and I believe changed me for the better. When we face crisis like our entire country is facing, whether it's the racial tension, the political divides, the pandemic, you name it, the fires, everything that's going on in our world, I believe that crisis situations can bring about beautiful change in the lives of people who go through that crisis, because that's how God works. He does work all things for the good. And so I'm really thankful for the ways that he's kind of opened my eyes and the first thought I had when you asked that question was that conversation with Emmanuel, just talking about racism today. And, as a white guy with a predominantly white audience, I learned so much in that conversation, and things like that I think are changing me in ways that are very important.
And that podcast debuted at #1 too, so congrats there. And do you think that's something that's going to stick with you when you get back out on the road full time? You're going to keep the podcast going?
Yeah, well, first I just want to say, take that, Joel Osteen, right? That's what the Christian walk's all about, competition. Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah, the podcast was not a short-term plan. It was a long-term plan. And my plan is to continue every Wednesday with a new episode of the Matthew West podcast. I'm really excited about the guests I'm getting to talk to. And, there's still a musical component to every episode. There's a segment called Songs from the Story House. And my studio is called the Story House. And so in every episode, we kind of dive into the creation of one of the songs that was written here. So it's been a lot of fun. My dad's a pastor. He's been a pastor for 40 years. And he has a segment in every episode called Dadvice. And he gives a little word of encouragement. So I love it, man. I love, music is always going to be my first love. But this podcast is just another way to connect people. And I'm just trying to run my race well, get to the end of it and hear the Lord say, well done. And I believe that, while I'm on this earth and while I have a voice to sing or speak, I want to tell people about Jesus every chance I get.
Well, back to the Dove Awards real quick. You got a few nominations this year, and you got a little bit of an advantage on that Song of the Year nomination. You got two chances at it this year.
I got
Nobody and The God Who Stays.
What do you think? You think my odds are good or what?
You might be sneaking that in there. They might not know that you have double the odds this year.
Yeah, or maybe I'll split votes. I mean, I don't know. It's always, hey, it's an honor, to be nominated for a Dove Award. I won my first Dove Award in 2018. I won Songwriter of the Year, and that was just incredible. I'm so thankful for that. I've been in the industry since 2003, and so 15 years. And I'd never won a Dove Award, but my wife had won a Dove Award. So that was always, that'll send you to marital counseling right there,
So maybe you can break the tie this year.
I'm excited, man. I'm thankful for the recognition from the GMA and the work that they do, and just to be in this community of incredible writers and artists of all genres, Christian, gospel music, man. Thankful to be a part of it.
Well, just like a real red carpet, your publicist is kind of staring at us and saying, you've got another interview to get to. We got to end this now, but we'll catch up with you again, Matthew. Good to see you.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.